Alberta, Canada.
Okay, this is a slightly skewed older group, if that's if you can believe that, but it is. Because my demographics over the last 20 years used to be 35 to 50. Now it's 15 to 34. 15 to 34. And as I said last night at dinner, it's because the kids figure out they're fucked up earlier. They, when you were growing up, you didn't agree with your parents too much about a lot of things, okay? You always thought that something's wrong or, and you were right. Well, now the kids, because they can Google and they can get information almost instantaneously, and they figure this crap out. And so younger and younger and younger. And that's one of the reasons I decided a number of years ago to give all my product away free. So I went from the most expensive product on the internet, several $1,000s for a CD that cost me a nickel or 20 cents, to zero, because I wanted to take the last excuse away from the older kids that they didn't have the tools to be successful, and I wanted to give the younger kids that didn't have any money it for free. And that's why I speak at schools now. One of the reasons I speak at schools. We're fortunate. We have a couple kids here, quite by serendipity, that are repeats from years gone by. They both come from a class from summer of 2015. And as I said last night at dinner, that DNA in that class was something special because we had several very successful kids in that class. And one of which is the kid I talk about, Josh, the teenage millionaire, who people think, I'm told now, people think he's an actor, people think he's not for real. Well, we actually have his roommate here from that seminar, don't we? Okay, he's a real person, isn't he? Yep, okay. And and most of the people that I think that write derogatory things about Josh, let alone some of the other successful kids that we've had, are dropouts from the program. Dropouts or bounce outs that I bounced out. But that's fine. And but we just happen to have Josh's roommate here on this trip. But that same group, we had two big hitter internet e-commerce guys. And I don't mind mentioning their name, Matt Lloyd and Shakir Hussein, both of which, again, I'm not telling any secrets, are making millions of dollars a month. Millions. Not tens of thousands, millions. And they both came through in August of 2015. And if you don't mind me sharing, the student here, the kid, notwithstanding he's Polish, he's doing $1 million this year while he's still in university. And I mean, these are real life people. These aren't actors. Now, some people actually think that you come from central casting, that you're not for real. There is a movement out there that really is trying to believe. Now, I couldn't get such a cutie pie like this from central casting. I couldn't. I mean, that you're not real, that I go to all this trouble to bring people in from all over the world to, now why would I do that since I don't sell anything? We have still people believe that I don't own this castle. And when you have the time to devote to dispelling truth, forget about myth, I mean, your life's pretty fucked up. And the bottom line is, kids, and I call you all kids because I'm either old enough to be your father or grandfather, the world is fucked up. And we're going to spend a lot of time about this because if love got the job done, you wouldn't fucking be here. Love doesn't get the job done. Whether you're Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, I don't give a shit what you are. Love just doesn't get the motherfucker done. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And just as the kids in Canada understood this, and when I showed the kid with the lashes on his back, one of my mentees, who, and we'll look at the slide here again while we're here this week, who lets people beat him. That's a real slide. That's not for pretend. He's so ashamed of being a snowflake. He's so ashamed of what his parents produced. A cunt. And most of you are. That first question, what would you do if somebody said your girlfriend or your and one of you said, I'm heterosexual, I can't relate to that because, okay, well, they say your girlfriend's got a big fucking fat ass, asshole. What do? 95% of you said nothing. The second question, what if somebody spit on your wife or girlfriend? 75% of you said nothing. What the fuck? Nothing. I mean, what happened to your fucking nuts? I got a cousin, God love him. He went to jail for stabbing somebody 17 times for calling his girlfriend in 1961 a lard ass. By the grace of God, the guy didn't die. Was it a smart thing to do? No. But where I come from, you didn't be saying that your girl, wife, or whoever the fuck, had a big ass. And there's a lot of big asses in my neighborhood, by the way. What has happened? And I believe with all my heart that political correctness, PC, is a manifestation of lack of self-esteem. Lack of self-esteem. And one of the things little Josh has got a lot of fucking self-esteem. And he was here when he was 17. As we can attest to his roommate here, who I completely forgot about. I met his parents a few weeks ago. I had dinner with them in Washington, D.C. And I said, I know what his parents are going to be like, but I got to meet him face to face because they did almost everything right raising him. Whereas your parents did almost every motherfucking thing wrong. And YouTube, almost every single thing wrong. When I ask you, was your dad a pussy? Some of you say, yeah, but. Kind of. Those 23 questions are very insightful. All they did was validate. I'm not going to write another book, but they validated to me the deterioration that I've seen in the last 24 and a half years. 24 and a half years. And that's why, one of the reasons I've continued to add visual aids, webinars, and all the tools, the processes, procedures, systems. In the 90s, we had nothing. We had a fucking seminar. And we didn't have no mentor program. And we created billionaires. Now I show you, take your dick and you put it in the hole like this. I actually hold it there like a stud, a stud horse, and I'm jacking off your nuts so you can come. And you still can't do it. And it's because the deterioration of the world. The world's fucked up. I.e., Donald Trump won because the United States of America was up to here. Now, whether he makes it a second term, or whether God, I hope he does, or whether they impeach him, I hope not. But I knew a year ago yesterday that it was the greatest transformation of wealth in the history since World War II. Now I say in all of time. Because the things that I knew he would do, he would do them in spite of Congress. He would do them in spite. And he's taken a lot of shit, as you can really see. And I feel for him because he looks tired in China. He's a year younger than I am, and he's trapped. I mean, that's a lot of fucking work for an old man. Believe me. And I'm in better shape than he is. I feel for him. And they're making fun of him. CNN this morning was making fun of him because he looked tired. He looked tired. He did look tired. He looks tired. That's not easy. 13-hour time change, all that bullshit. Having to prepare for the meetings. The only good thing is that he doesn't have many snowflakes around him. So this next week is going to be transformational. It can be, if you use it, just as transformational as President Trump has been for the United States and the planet. He has changed politics forever. Whether you like him, hate him, love him, he has changed it forever. He has changed it forever. And it's never going to be the same. And as I said last night at dinner, interest rates are the lowest in 5,000 years. 5,000 years. 2,000 years ago, they had 20% interest rates. Now, how many of the podcast motherfuckers gurus that you have listened to, how many of the motherfucking books that you've ever read, how many of the goddamn seminars did you ever told you they had 20% interest rates 3,000 years ago? Nobody. Because the people you listen to are fucking morons. Why am I so smart? Because I'm smart. And I can tell you the goddamn truth because I don't give a fuck because, I don't care if you drop dead right here. We've had people, may God strike me dead. Right on that column right there, a woman passed out and cut her head open. We didn't stop the fucking seminar. We had people wanting to go, no. We just marched on. During the break, somebody revived her. We've had people shit their pants in this seminar. Shit themselves. We had people pee their pants. And we just keep marching on because that's what life does. It keeps marching on. I'm going to end this morning on a little story. Happens to be true. Costa Grazos, one of my mentors, I was privileged to work with, was the CEO of NASA Shipping Group. He was this right-hand man for 60 plus years of Aristotle Onassis. This is when $1 billion was a fucking $1 billion. Back in the late 70s, early 80s. And we used to go to lunch at Le Grand Oui in New York City. Great restaurant. Sally and I was just there a couple weeks ago. And before we go to lunch, because as you get old, you have to pee more. I can attest to that. And he said, so we go into the men's room, and some of the greatest information Mr. Grazos ever gave me was in the bathroom. So, and he used to walk like this, because whatever it is, when you can't move your legs right, he would shuffle his legs on. And we were walking out of the men's room in Onassis Towers, and he stopped and he said, Mr. Peña, and there's not a urinal, but a commode. And he pushed the door a little, and he said, what do you see in there? And so I'm thinking, what's E equals MC squared, Einstein kind of shit. What does he mean? And I said, I see a commode, a toilet. What else do you see? And I go, fuck, it's made out of porcelain, porcelain commode, blah, blah, blah. The seat's up. Men's urinal, the seat's up. Now, instead of the seat being down. So what else do you see? I say, it's full of water. So he says, okay, what if you stuck your fist in the water, Mr. Peña? So I'm thinking, water displacement, I don't know that formula. Fuck, coefficient of friction. I'm trying to think, what the fuck's he want from me? And he says, if it would displace the water, sir. And he says, okay. And he said, and if you pulled your fist out, then what happened? Well, the water would go back, okay. The water, other than the water that's left on my arm, it'd be the same level of water, same amount of water as before. He says, yes. That's life, Mr. Peña. You're no more than a fist in a toilet bowl. No more than a cosmos of time, a fart in the wind. Never forget it. Bill Gates is no more than a fart in the wind in the cosmos of time. Mr. Zuckerberg is anybody that's ever fucking walked the planet is no more than a fart in the wind or the displacement of water in a toilet bowl. So any decision you'd ever make, meatheads, can be nothing more than that. When I ask you, what's holding you back? Me. And then you go on, all you got to do is say me. And you go on to fucking, some of you wrote this much. What's holding you back? And we'll leave it at that. Goodbye, YouTube.